Hello and welcome to Ellaeenah Ascension Network. I am Ellaeenah, and I am honored to be your light friend eternally. Through inspired meditations and channelings from the cosmic overlord JadeFire and other divine masters of white light, let us proceed together on our spiritual journey as lovers of Gaia and beings of divine light. I invite you to visit our sacred space of learning and oneness, www.jadefirelight.com/blog, to read and hear discourses that provide self-empowering divine wisdom. From my soul to yours, in love light and faith divine, I am Ellaeenah JadeFire. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to 2013. In this year, you must rise to ascend. And what does that mean? For a long time now, the master energies, highest consciousness, has connected with you, has pulled you into ascension by lowering their frequencies. We have reached down, in a manner of speaking, so that you may hold our hand and rise up. We will not do this anymore. In order to connect, in order to accelerate your ascension, you now must rise up and reach us. Till 2012, we were committed to allowing our energy frequencies to be, in a sense, manipulated so that we could access you and you could access us. From March of this year, that will end. No higher consciousness is now committed to allowing its frequency to be used in a manner where a lower frequency can access it without the lower frequency rising to meet the frequency of the higher consciousness. The responsibility of contact is now entirely with you. Till 2012, we, by conscious choice, by conscious collective choice, permitted contact to be both initiated from higher consciousness and from lower consciousness. Now, contact can be initiated only from lower consciousness. Even though higher consciousness might wish to contact you, might wish to dialogue with you, to deliberate with you, that will not be unless the initiating move is by lower consciousness. By this, we have actually given up to your hands a control of how you should choose to use universal energies. And you can control this at your command. Not all will be aware of this. In fact, there will be some who will attempt to initiate contact with higher consciousness, but will not be able to reach the frequency range required. So they may contact, in fact, a higher frequency, yes, but not the frequency that they desire to. If their awareness, if their understanding, if their recognition of energies and frequencies is even a little bit faulty, not completely in tune, they will assume that they have reached a frequency that they desired, but which in fact they have not reached. Will that make a difference? Not significantly, but if the person making contact, initiating contact, remains in lack of awareness of their ability to reach the ranges of frequency they desire, this lack of awareness will lead to hurdles created by the person for themselves. So it is now time that you all begin to take on this responsibility, to initiate contact. When you choose the higher frequency that you would like to contact, and you may call that higher frequency by whatever name. Some call it Buddha, and some call it Charmaine, and some call it an angel. Eventually, they are all just higher frequencies. So once you have chosen the frequency that you wish to make contact with. You must become aware of your own ability or current inability to access that frequency. Before you initiate contact, attempt to spend a few days just allowing your own energy matrix to imprint upon itself the frequency you wish to make contact with. Just allow that frequency to imprint upon you. What does that mean? Remember, the higher frequency will not, we repeat, will not reduce its frequency range. This imprinting will be done almost like a ghost frequency. Your intent will be made known to the universe. So when you say the Buddha, the Christ, Sai, you are informing your own higher consciousness of the frequency that you wish to access. You're only giving it a name. Your intent is heard by your higher consciousness, which then transmits an energy message, searching for that higher frequency that it must rise up to meet. As the energy message is being transmitted, the higher frequency in response sends a ghost impression of itself. So you will receive an impression of that frequency. You will not receive the frequency. So for a few days, take in that ghost frequency. Initially, you may not feel or experience anything. Persevere. It is not difficult at all. When you have received the experience of the ghost frequency, persevere with that experience for at least 3 days. In this manner, your personal energy grid will then become attuned to the ghost frequency, which is like a mirror reflection of the higher consciousness you wish to access. Then you may, in whatever manner you choose, begin your personal process of contacting the actual higher frequency. And because your energies already have been impressed with the ghost frequency, they will be easier able to expand themselves to the range of the higher frequency. Make this your daily practice. every 2 or 3 weeks, choose another higher frequency to work with for 2 or 3 weeks. Do not make judgment calls whether the Christ is a higher frequency than the Buddha or vice versa. Whether the angel frequency is a higher frequency than Germain or vice versa. Do no such thing. No judgments. In fact, each time you work with another frequency, you are training yourself more and more and more to reach upwards to different frequency ranges. And there will come a time when you will not require to practice with the ghost frequency because your energy has become attuned to not only rising to a higher frequency, but expanding itself enough to have complete contact.
Yes, one thing, please. You've told us that in our joy chakras we hold a lot of master energies. Everyone does. So what happens? They're already part of our grid.
Of course.
In any case.
But you now have to train your grid to be the initiating contact, not only the receiving contact.
Which we do in any case.
Oh no. Oh no. You initiate by your intent, and the higher frequencies oblige. Now the higher frequencies will oblige,
But we have to reach
but
them.
will not allow the frequency range from which they function to be changed. Now you may wonder, why is this change taking place? Are we just being difficult? No. You have to be coerced into ascension. 2013 starts a cycle of ascension, or should we say, a phase of the cycle of ascension, in which the human race now moves towards giving up, and hear us well, giving up its human physical form at will. Much like the beloved Mahavatar Babaji did for so long. This phase of ascension will take between 300 to 500 years. As humanity is able to then manipulate its own physicality at will, not anyone else's, its own, the earth will start releasing her physicality as a planet and ascends into new harmonics of the spiritual planet. And that is called the ascension of a planet.
Only 300 years.
3 to 500 years. Not at all a long time.
Yes.
Not at all a long time. And that is why you need to be pulled up, stretched. And let us be very clear with this. Do not be mistaken and believe that this contact will only be made by those who call themselves spiritualists. Not at all. Your scientists will do this. Your doctors will do this. Your engineers will do this. Your architects will do this. Your educationists will do this. Your lawyers will do this. All will do this in their own way. And as the universe is guiding you, they will be guided in their own special manner, in their own special language, to do exactly what you are being guided to do. Humanity itself has to rise up for its own ultimate ascension and the ascension of the planet. There are in your midst a few whose energies have been present when other planets have ascended. They are here in order to help with Earth's ascension. And we will point these out to you. For these have even greater responsibilities. You are one such. You have in the past been witness to and been party to ascension of planets. So you know intrinsically the process. So do you, and so do you. So do you. So do you. And yes, so do you. It is time to remember. And that is why over 2012 we have pushed you harshly. Seated here amongst these, yours is the densest forgetfulness. All of these know somewhere in their energy spaces, they know you don't. It is time to know, for if you don't, you cannot be of help to Earth. And you are being guided by one who knows, who has been present for several ascension processes. Begin to know. You are surrounded by so many who know. Take their help. (2013) to 2038 is the most important of this 300 to 500 year cycle. For many of you, it will be in your lifetimes. For many of you, those of you who will not be here to see 2038, do not be mistaken that your work is in any manner less important. We now address those who have witnessed and experienced planetary ascension processes. For a few moments, we wish to address you. Your responsibilities now will be not only towards yourself. You must break free, beloved, of so much that still binds you. Unless you are completely liberated from self, you cannot help planetary ascension. Planetary ascension requires you to not become aware of the physicality of yourself. Aches and pains and illnesses and emotional strife are all physicality of self. Before the rest of humanity can move into a phase of completely detaching from universal self, the universal physical self, the ascension process cannot be completed. So of course you will have greater challenges and greater tasks to perform. Each one of you, not only the ones who have witnessed planetary ascension, each one of you have taken birth in order to aid planetary ascension. And though the task now becomes even more incumbent upon you few, the task is similar for all. Identify for yourselves what is the physicality that you are getting entangled in. Is it material? Is it possessions? Is it relationships? Is it a job? Is it career? What is it? Is it health? Is it mental rigidities? What are your areas? Each one of you. What are your areas where you are trapped in the physicality of who you are? Do nothing else till we may meet again, but work to move beyond that physicality. It shall exist. It shall remain. In fact, it shall remain so that you may work at it. Beloved, are you seeing a greater purpose now? Work at all the areas trapping you in physicality. Now you will ask us, but how? And we have no answer, for each one is trapped in a different physicality. And when you have understood how you are trapped, you will understand how to free yourself. She may be trapped in the same physicality as she may be. And yet, when she understands her trap, the finer details of her trap, she will realize that they are completely different from hers. And so, though outwardly it seems the same, it is not the same at all. The greatest hurdle for each one, before any other hurdle can be surpassed, is, are you willing to overcome the physicality of self? Are you willing?
Yes. Aren't we?
Not so quick, beloved. For tomorrow, if we should put some instant before you where a large sum of money has to leave you, you will not be ready to overcome that physicality of self, for you will hold on to that as your security. Now let us explain to you this year, before we move into the phase of 2013 to 2038.
Please may I ask a question? We are talking about the imprint on our grids.
Yes.
When we say, you ask for, say, Christ energies or Buddhic energies. So whoever there are, whichever energies which are part of the cosmic brotherhood.
Same frequency.
So what do we say? There's so many people.
You will call it by your name, the Buddhic frequency, to give your example.
Yeah.
That is it. Your higher consciousness is already aware of the frequency range you wish to access by using that name. For example, when you call her Ruki, you are also aware that she is nothing else but an energy frequency. So when you dial her number, you know that you want to access her energy, which you are calling Ruki. But if she had a secret lover, he would dial her as sweetheart, not as Ruki.
I understand, but there are so many frequencies and we know so few names. When we even using words like Christ or...
Do not bother. Do not bother. For what you knew as the Buddhic frequencies 10 years ago
isn't the same.
Haven't remained the same. From March to June of 2013, the energies are to be used to balance. But before balance, to review. You must review every single detail of your life. Review as far back as your conscious memory takes you. Do not get entangled in it. Do not attempt to resolve it. Just review it. Once again, revisit. But this time when you revisit, you will revisit it with your current energy space. And by doing that, there is an automatic, natural clearance process. So review is very important. Review and balance. Review and balance. plans. That is one part. The second part, as you review, begin to formulate new plans. Do not set them into motion. Just formulate them. What are the new possibilities that you would like to experience? The new beginnings that you would like to enjoy? Formulate plans. And then from June 2013 to December 2013, now begin to act upon those plans.
Could you give us some examples, please?
For example, you might plan to have a far greater experience for yourself and those whom you teach and train. A far greater experience of spirit as it exercises itself through physical exercise. Spirit exercising itself through physical exercise, because that is your field, your strength, your forte. Formulate, and then in July put it into action. Be ready to leave behind what you have been doing. Do not attempt, sometimes, do not attempt to merely alter or make certain modifications in the today. There may be times when you have to leave it behind completely. So she has a choice to modify her current program or completely leave it behind and in place have an absolutely different one.
When it's mentioned give up things, give up, give up, give up. This is the message that I have been having for a long time. What do you
You
mean?
have to sometimes, beloved, completely walk away. You cannot just turn your head. For in turning your head, the rest of your energy space is still with the old. To give up means to walk away without any regret. With the complete knowledge that you are walking towards a greater light. So this is 2013. The period from 2013 to 2038 will be used towards lessening, decreasing the hold that physicality has over you. It cannot be done overnight. It will take you minute after painful minute to endeavor to do this. Do not be depressed, saddened, agitated, annoyed, disturbed, upset over those moments when you will not be able to detach yourself, when you will not wish to detach yourself. Persevere through those moments. That is why we have given such a long period of time, from 2013 to 2028, 25 years. There are, like the few seated here, so many others who are on earth in this incarnation and whose contracts now with earth to aid her in her planetary ascension come to life. Their tasks, their responsibilities are even greater. They must endeavor with over 100% of their intent. But there is not a single living person today who has not made a contract with Earth. And as 2013, February 15th dawns, the contracts that each one has made with the earth come to life. At that point, there is no turning back. Now, you have had many who have told you about the challenges. We wish to explain these challenges to you. 2013 was never meant to be and will not be a year of doom. It is certainly a year of change. It is certainly a year of expansion. But why must that spell doom? Unless, of course, you choose it. So it is not going to spell doom and disaster. Yes, there will be some who will choose that path, what might appear to you the more difficult path. But that is a matter of personal choice. It is not earthly choice. Planet Earth will not release through doom and disaster unless she is urged to play a part in the choice of another. Do you understand us? Earlier, planet Earth would release her energies, and a few humans would agree to be part of her choice. Now it is not her choice to have any disaster, but she lays herself open if she is asked to play that role by those who choose that path. Can you see the change? So it may not be for some a radiant year, but for others it could be wondrous. Again, you are aware, it is not your limited intelligence that makes the choice. It is your higher consciousness That's right. If you are constantly contacting higher frequencies, you will know what your higher consciousness is choosing. You will know that. You will be guided accordingly. We are going to ask you now, all of you, to follow a few simple tips every day. Your grid is still very firmly attached to the human fear grid. Although Ray 4 changed into its positive several years ago, for you personally, Ray 4 is still functioning as the ray of harmony through conflict. So the first step towards detaching yourself from physicality is loosening the hold the fear grid of humanity has over your personal grid. Your grid, without you knowing it, is completely overlaid by the fear grid. It rests completely on top of your grid. Its energies constantly feeding your personal grid. Now here is this wonderful divine dichotomy. All of you here are receiving the rays of higher consciousness that penetrated the earth and have been penetrating the earth since 2009. So on one level, your personal grid is soaking in the higher universal rays and changing itself accordingly, because the personal grid is a dynamic grid. So it's constantly changing itself by the rays it is receiving. But it is also receiving one other energy: fear. So each time what you receive is diluted depending upon the quotient of fear energy in your personal grid. So at times, when you feel you are expanded, when you feel a sense of radiance within, the quotient of fear is so little that the dilution of the rays is minimal. And at other times, the subconscious is talking very loudly to you of threat and insecurity and rejection and abandonment. And the overlay of the fear grid is feeding your grid with huge surges of energy. So though you receive and are constantly receiving the higher rays, they are being diluted by the large inflow of the fear grid. You have to therefore remove that overlay. Remember, You are still human. You are rising to ascension, yes, but you are still human. Physicality for you is still uppermost. Each night, just before you fall asleep, for 5 minutes, in whatever way you wish to visualize, visualize the fear grid lying on top of your personal grid. Look for the places where it has hooked in. Attempt to break one hook at a time. One. You might find at certain times that the hooks you've broken seem to have multiplied and are there very strongly again. Understand that your subconscious is at work. Become aware of that and still proceed to break one hook before you go to sleep. But in the following days, begin to understand the subconscious. Make it part of your conscious awareness. If you cannot do it on your own, seek a friend's help to do it. But do it. That is step 1. There is yet something else that you must do. Through the day, whenever anxiety, worry begins to raise its head, remember, beloveds, anxiety and worry are just terms you have given to fear. So you become anxious, you're worried, you're scared for yourself or for a loved one. There is an emotional disturbance. At that moment, take 5 minutes off from whatever it is that you're doing. Again, visualize the grid with the overlay of fear and strongly send a sharp ray of light of your own higher consciousness to the fear grid. Do nothing else. You are not in the right frame to break the hook, so do not attempt it. Just send just one sharp, strong ray of light of your own higher consciousness to the fear grid. That is it. Now these 2 steps have to be done every day at every moment. You have our word that if you are consistent, the fear grid will fall away. And even without these exercises, beloved, how much fear have you already overcome?
Yes.
Isn't it? Do you really think you can't do this? You've already done so much. This year's solstices and equinoxes are extremely vital, more vital than in other years. each solstice day and each equinox, the earth will move into another dimensionality and time frame. We take your mind back to when we had explained to you the earth's grid, how it joins together the ley lines at right angles, and at each right angle there forms an orb which is a different timeline. Do you all recall?
Yes.
Some of these timelines will now meld into the earth's grid, which means all souls forevermore have already taken a choice not to be birthed in certain timelines. The timelines that are still alive, and there are few left only, will receive energies at the time of the solstices and the equinoxes, and will change their orb energy, will become multi-dimensional orbs and multi-time frame orbs. This has never before been experienced. We are going to simplify it for you and therefore, of course, sacrifice a bit of truth. Let us assume that a large body of souls, because remember, we need a collective. A large body of souls choose the timeline of 1984. Are you with us?
Yes.
Now, they will be born in 1984. They are a collective. Their experiences will be of 1984, where there was no iPhone. Now, receiving the energies of the equinoxes and the solstices, the timeline of 84 also becomes multi-dimensional, even though it wasn't earlier. Which means the souls being born into 1984 after the equinoxes and the solstices will experience multi-dimensionality just as you do now.
So they've caught up too? They've caught up too.
If there is a catching up.
So 2013...
Because you are still looking at it as linear.
Yes. So 2013, again from the linear point, could be 4062. Is that what you're saying? Kind of. Sort
If that's
of.
what you call it.
Sort of, right? Because time is simultaneous.
So it becomes, that is right.
Yeah.
It becomes in experience, not only in energy. It becomes in experience multi-dimensional and multi-time frame. And so what you are experiencing at certain moments as parallel time will be experienced then when earlier it wasn't. And we use then very loosely. So, all the orbs of time and dimension that are left in the Earth's grid also begin changing their own energy space. This is vital, for remember, the Earth's grid is completely different. The very space around you, the ether, the heavens if you wish to call it, are completely different. How can you have within the earth certain orbs of energy that still remain part of an older grid. They too have to change. And their change will be facilitated by the equinoxes and the solstices. So this year, the equinoxes and solstices will be primarily for the earth rather than for personal use. Of course, every high energy portal can be used for personal use. But the truth is that every day a high energy portal is opening up for personal use. Every day. So do not wait for certain days of the year, because they are not for you specifically. They are for the earth as she moves into the final phase of her planetary ascension. And of course, in this most joyous final phase, the Syrians, the Arcturians, the Ashtar command at large, the Pleiadians, all become most significant as they literally hold the earth's energies, taking her soaring up to her ascension. What will keep her back? Your attachment to physicality. So just as you are receiving higher rays, but there's a dilution due to the fear energy, the earth is receiving the highest of the high energies, but they will be diluted by the level of attachment to physicality that exists on earth. And so you see how vital you are. Each one of you. You are so, so important. You are truly the wind beneath her wings. Light, love, joy, and beauty. Those are your gifts for 2013. Please accept them. Yes. Do not exchange them for other gifts. Claim these gifts. Their beautiful red bow has a gift tag with your name on it.